Welcome to the Makeover Your Mindset podcast. I'm Cassie McKenzie. Think of me as your BFF for manifestation and high vibe mindset makeovers. It's my personal mission to turn your inspiration into action so you can be, do, and have everything you've ever dreamed of having in life. This podcast will focus a ton on creating fulfilling relationships with money, friends, and soulmates, and inspire you to have fun so you can live the most extraordinary life you've ever imagined. If you're ready to take to the next step, then you've come to the right place. Thanks again for joining me. Now let's begin. I wanted to hop on quickly today because I've had a couple friends that have gone for new jobs and didn't get it, or that are applying for jobs and it's taking a while, and I've been there before. And it was before I kind of had like a true understanding of how manifestation works. But now thinking back on it, it completely makes sense because I look back at like what my priorities were back at that time. And I'm able to see, speaking of career success here, hello, I'm talking about how to manifest a new job. So drop me an emoji telling me how happy you are with your current job situation as you're listening to this. I'd love to see. It's a really tricky subject sometimes because people are, People are really tied to not only money, but, your career. You spend all day long at work. We were able to retire at 65 in America? I don't even know because I don't plan on working that long. And if I am, it's doing something that I love, like right now. So, hi, best of both worlds. But, when you're looking at your mindset around how happy you are with your job and what sort of job you want to manifest instead, like if you're really unhappy with it and you want to look at a new career, or maybe you're a stay-at-home mom and you need to like get back out in the workforce and you're looking to manifest a new job, like what are the real steps there? So I've been unemployed a few times. I work in the pharmaceutical industry, and it's very volatile. And depending on how big or small your company is, you can really, be subject to a lot of layoffs and things like that. Every time that I was laid off, though, I was really excited because it came at a perfect timing in my life. The first time, my manager was just kind of batshit crazy and I couldn't stand that job for one more day. And so when I was laid off, I was like, praise the Lord. I'm so excited. Best day of my life. I'm going to go celebrate. True. Plus they gave me like a 6-month severance package. So I was like, woohoo. I really went out on that one. Then the other 2 times, though, came at really pivotal times in my life. One allowed me to move back to San Diego. And that's where I met my husband. And then the last time, most recently, was when I had just had my son. He was like turning 1 year old. We had just gotten back from South Africa, and we got back, and literally my pharma company at the time, laid everybody off that was in my group. So it was 2 weeks before Christmas. A lot of people were really pissed off, but I was actually really excited. I see it as an opportunity, and it comes at, everything comes in divine timing, and everything really happens truly for a reason. So if you look at what that life's not happening to you, it's happening for you, and look at the opportunities that it can present, then it helps to ease any sort of discomfort there. And you can start to reframe and look at, a new aspect in life and kind of look at it from a different point of view, which allows you to see and your intuition to pick up because you're bringing more of a positive energy towards it. So, going back to job searching though, when I was unemployed most recently in San Diego, it was off and on for about almost a year before I got full-time employment. I was able to find part-time jobs here and there, but, and they worked within my industry, so it was great. But interestingly enough, I kind of look at it as like a blessing that I didn't find my position right away because I had just met my husband, who I manifested to. I'm just a queen here. And I was able to spend more time with him and actually like kind of stalk him all around the world by not having a job. I had plenty of vacation time, and money just seemed to come in right when I needed it. And I had all the resources that I needed to, really be able to visit him. For those of you who don't know the story, the Cliff's Notes version is that he used to work on a giant super yacht. and they traveled all over. It was very unexpected where they were going to go. And so for me to be able to like go at a moment's notice and, he'd basically say, all right, we're in Puerto Rico, come visit me next weekend and we'll be able to hang out because we'll have some time off. We don't have any guests here, so I'd be able to go. So had I had a job then I wouldn't have been able to go visit him and I wouldn't have gotten to know him. And really, I kind of threw it into the universe because right before Christmas, I was unemployed. I had looked really hard for a job. I was really frustrated about it. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to take this time and go to South Africa for Christmas. That's where my husband's from. I planned to go for 1 week. I stayed for 3. Another thing I wouldn't have been able to do if I was employed. And believe me, I was dwindling down to my last few hundreds of dollars in the bank account. So don't be thinking that I'm coming from I've got bags of money everywhere. At the time, I didn't. But I always had enough to get by. And that was my belief at the time. Now I believe in overflow. You always have more than enough coming in and go in, to pay for your bills and have more afterwards. But at the time I was able to pay everything that I needed to and go visit him. And I knew that, my belief at the time and my intention was as soon as I get back after the new year, all these jobs are going to open up and I'll be able to get one quickly. So that was how I manifested that position. And I was able to come back from the trip. I had a week off, literally sent 2 emails out to recruiters, just 2, and didn't hear anything back for a week. Just went along my merry way because in my mind I kept telling myself, enjoy your time here, all this time off while you have it, because I'm going to be working soon and I'm going to wish I had some time off. So I just went along with the full understanding, full faith, a job is coming, take some time to enjoy your time here off while you can. And then literally a week later, I got an email that I didn't even respond to right away. I don't know why. I got busy. I was single sort of single in San Diego. I was having the time of my life. Then the next morning, the recruiter calls me again and is like, can you interview tomorrow? And I was able to interview, got offered the job. I was driving back to San Diego from Del Mar and it's a 30-minute trip. And halfway down, I got a call saying, do you want this? So it really does work. And it's all about being intentional about what you want, but then letting it go and letting it go into the universe. And but you have full faith that it's going to happen. And the faith part is where people get tripped up, I think. What that feels like to me is hand on my heart. I know it's happening. I know without a shadow of a doubt that this is happening for me. Any sort of negative feelings or disbelief or anxiety around this is gone. And I'm really going to enjoy and be happy now as if I already have the job now, and take every day as a gift, which is a good policy anyway, but or good practice anyway. But then it's coming. It's just a matter of time. And so when we put too much pressure on things, or we put too much pressure on how our desires are going to be brought to us, then that pushes it away and draws that resistance in. So for me, the whole year prior to that, I was putting energy out to jobs and I was getting a lot of calls, but I wasn't getting the jobs because something in me believed that something, either I wasn't worthy of the job I was going for, which truthfully did happen. Even though now I look back, I'm like, shit, they would have been lucky to hire me because I would have blown it out of the water. But also there was something in me that thought something bad would happen if I did get the job. And what bad would have happened was that I wouldn't have been able to see my boyfriend at the time, who ended up to be my husband. So when you're trying to manifest something that's really important to you or really big, I've got 3 questions I want you to ask yourself. And this is gold. And you're going to hear me say this over and over and over again because I think a lot of people might not get it right away. But the 3 questions you want to ask yourself if you're trying to manifest something you really desire and it's not coming yet. First, ask, what is it that you want? And be specific. Be very specific. I desire to have a new job with a manager I love and a team that I love that treats me really well. How would you feel in that position? What would they say to you? What would your performance reviews? Would you have to go to meetings? I remember for my current job, I said, I want a really cool manager that understands I'm a mom And I want to manage, I really love to work for a company where it didn't have a lot of meetings that you had to go to. And I want to get paid X amount of dollars. And I'll tell you what, that's exactly what I got. I got the coolest manager who hired me. She's amazing. I think I've had to go to like one meeting. It was like a 1-day meeting. This is unheard of in the pharma industry. Usually it's like, let's have a 3-day meeting to talk about our 5-day meeting that we're going to have in like 3 months. And you're like, oh, can I just not have to deal with this? Because it's like, oh, Lord have mercy. Meetings for meetings. I'll tell you what, it's a whole nother podcast. But anyway, so I was be very specific. And then if it's not coming and it seems like there's some resistance in you, ask yourself, what in you believes that you can't have it? And I want you to journal this out. And then also, what part of you thinks something bad would happen if you get it? So those are the 3 questions. What do you want? What do you believe? Or what part of you believes you can't have it yet? And then what part of you thinks something bad would happen if you did get it? And just see what comes out. Like, you don't have to restrain your thoughts. You don't have to like guard yourself in it. Just write that out and see what comes back. And like, if I had to do it all over again, it probably would have said, well, I'm afraid, and I know this, I'm afraid that I'm sorry, I have a low connection there, Facebook. I'm afraid that I won't be able to see my boyfriend, which was true. And then there's another part saying, well, I'm afraid I can't do this job if I get it, which obviously is a lie. So, go back to that and dispel or just reframe and see what new belief you can, form, or maybe what would make you feel better about what's coming up in terms of these like limiting beliefs or ideas that you might have. So those being my tips for today, I hopefully will help you. Like I said, leave an emoji there on this live stream if you or for how much you love your current job or maybe don't like your current job. I'm actually going to do another podcast on my Makeover Your Mindset podcast for how to specifically manifest a job, but also what sort of inspired action you have to take. There's a lot of people out there who really want a new job, but then maybe don't want to work on the LinkedIn profile. So my goal is to always give you the energetic principles, like the people would think more woo-woo thing, but it's actually it's pretty science-based as far as like setting your goals, envisioning yourself in them and seeing them manifest, but then also the practical part of it too. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you really enjoyed this conversation, please leave me a message or a podcast comment, or you can also send me an email. Send me a question if there's anything you want me to cover. I love hearing from you all, and I do get these really cool messages from you saying XYZ, can you answer this? So thanks so much again. I hope you guys are doing well. Have a beautiful Thursday. Bye. Loved this episode of the Makeover Your Mindset podcast? Head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It's very much appreciated so more high vibe people like you can find us. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode.